Hi families, welcome to virtual back to school night. I wanted to provide a little bit of information moving forward into our new school year. So first I just kind of want to reintroduce myself. Again, my name is Miss Wright. This is my third year of teaching, and then all of my time has been here at Gracemore in the 5th grade. Before I came to Gracemore, I attended William Jewell College for my undergraduate. And then I'm currently at the University of Kansas for my graduate studies in special education. I'm originally from Carthage, which is in southwest Missouri near Joplin, but I have moved up to Kansas City for college and then now my job. My boyfriend now lives with me. We've been together almost 8 years, and he is currently attending Cleveland University of Chiropractic Medicine in Overland Park, Kansas. So we are having so much fun kind of learning about different bones of the body and especially the spinal column. And then finally, another fun fact about myself is I have recently become Pound Certified, which is a high energy workout involving drumsticks. And my hope is to find ways to incorporate some of these moves into my classroom, especially with some of the new safety procedures with COVID, making sure that when we give our desks time to dry, when we use our new cleaning materials, we can do some of these physical activity moves. Here are some pictures of me. In the top pictures, I have two brothers, Braden and Trace. Braden is my younger brother, Trace is my older brother, and Trace is actually expecting a baby girl this November, so I'm so excited to become an aunt. The picture below that kind of describes me as an athlete. I did cheerleading for 13 years of my life, so it was a lot of what I did. And that was actually me when I was in college. I started in 3rd grade and went all the way through my junior year of college. I did just regular high school or school cheer as well as competitive cheer, where I traveled around to different areas in the United States and even abroad. I love sports. My favorite sport is football. I love the Oklahoma State Cowboys, as well as I love the Chiefs. There's a picture that actually represents that I got to go to a playoff game against the Colts a couple of years ago. So it was really cool to see them win. And finally, I love to travel. These were actually 2 experiences that I had when I was in college, when I got to go to England with my college program for a month to experience the England education system. So here's a look at our daily schedule. As a heads up, we are the only grade this school year that has lunch and recess separated. We do not see this as a problem. We are just excited to move forward and see how this is going to help our students educationally. With this schedule, we'll move into our encore schedule. So on Mondays, we'll have music and PE. On Tuesdays, we'll have art. Wednesdays, we have music and health. Thursdays, we have second steps in PE. And as a reminder, second steps is our social and emotional learning curriculum to help students be able to use empathy, be able to calm themselves down when they are upset, and use problem-solving steps. And on Friday, I know this looks a little confusing, but every other week we have something going on. So one week we would have library lesson and instructional intervention, and instructional intervention is kind of like a study hall time for students to get caught up or to meet with me if they need additional support. And then the next week it would be counselor lesson and library checkout. I wanted to remind all families that at Gracemore and in the North Kansas City School District, we are using the restorative practices. And I'm going to explain what these are a little bit more, but the 3 components we use mainly are for circles, restoring the harm, and growth mindset. So in our classroom, we have community circles each morning as either a checkup or kind of as a fun activity. Restorative circles are more of a technique that builds and restores relationships through equal opportunity sharing and listening. So this gives the opportunity for students to listen to other people's thoughts about what potentially happened with maybe a problem. So we kind of go through 3 steps when going through a restorative circle. We kind of notice a consequence or maybe a redirection that needs to happen, and that is when we notice as a teacher we need to circle up. So for step 2, the teacher will call the circle. We set a time limit so we're not spending too much time on this, but we're giving it an adequate amount of thought process. We also talk through the problem with the students. So it's not just the adults talking. We give the students more of a chance to talk and get their thoughts out. And then as a class or as a small group, this could either be a whole class or small group, we review action steps that maybe were talked about during that circle. And then finally, the teacher will follow up with the class by thanking them for respecting everyone, but also their commitment to keeping the learning environment safe. Kind of reset expectations if it happened during a lesson or just throughout the day. And then finally follow up with students about action steps if things reoccur. The next part is about restoring harm. So repairing harm is a disciplined technique that holds students accountable for their behavior and links consequences with students' actions. So this example is if a child was to throw food in the cafe, they would be asked to stay after to clean it up. I know this is going to look a little different. We're not going to be eating in the cafe as much this school year, but we want to make sure that the students are held accountable for their behavior and that they understand why they are receiving these consequences. And finally, the last part about restorative practices is growth mindset. So there's 2 different mindsets an individual can have in life. There's either growth or fixed. Growth is when an individual believes their talents are developed, so even if you don't have it now, you can build it in. Or that's fixed, where you believe that your talents are innate gifts, so if you don't have it now, you'll never get it. And in our learning, we always want to make sure students have a growth mindset, so even when challenging things come forward, we know we can work through it and continue to grow rather than just stay in one spot. I do want to give you guys a little tour of our classroom because I know our virtual back to school night is a little bit different than years past. The bulletin board is actually outside of our classroom. I finished that and I'm super excited to put work up on our classroom from what we've done, and I know just like the sign says, come in, we're awesome. I'm so excited and I know our whole class is going to be awesome this year. The 2 pictures on the other side are the front of our classroom and then our back of our classroom. The 2 pictures on the far side are of our bookshelves. So we have a bunch of different books. I almost have the entire collection of Magic Tree House. And I know I have some Dogman books in there for my boys. And I know I have Wonder and One and Only Ivan for some of my girls. And the other 2 pictures, I have our schedule and our calendar on there, as well as a growth mindset poster that kind of shows some statements that students can use to help them when they're having a difficult time. So I do want to remind you of the school supply list. This is from the North Kansas City School District that they recommend for 5th grade. As 5th grade was looking through this, we noticed that there were some things that we needed to be added. Some of those materials were Crayola, markers, and colored pencils. In my classroom, I have purchased every child a pencil box. In that pencil box has 3 pencils, glue stick, scissors, a personal pencil sharpener, and Crayola crowns. And each child will get that in my class, no matter if they bring one or not. I just want to make sure that every child is equipped for our school year. As well, each child will be getting at least 1 composition notebook whenever they enter my classroom, no matter if they have them or not. But if you have any questions about the school supply list, please let me know. Moving forward, I do want to talk about COVID safety procedures. As you guys have heard, masks must be worn every day, and they must be worn above our nose at all times, just to make sure that we are being respectful to everyone. We will be using hand sanitizer when entering and exiting all rooms. This is just to keep everyone safe and healthy. So this means entering my room as well as Encore classrooms. When in the classroom, we're going to be staying in our assigned areas. There is like desks separated 3 feet apart, and they have tape around the front legs, so it's really easy to make sure the students are keeping their desks in their assigned spots, as well using their own school supplies. Moving on to lunch and recess. Lunch will take place in the classroom this school year. Students will be still provided a lunch from the cafeteria. But if you are sending a lunch with your child from home, please make sure that they are able to open all of the items in it, just to reduce the amount of touch if your child is to eat off that product. Again, masks will be taken off while eating, but we ask once they're finished that they put them back on when throwing away their trash, and it will stay on for the remainder of the day. Recess is the only time, and the only other time they'll be able to take their mask off if they are socially distant. That means 6 feet away from other children. If they do come within 6 feet of other students, we are asking them to put their mask back on. And then this year's a little bit different. We will be assigning special spots on the playground for classes to play. So if you have questions about that, please let me know. Students will be holding onto their masks. They're going to have lanyards on them so that students can keep a hold of them without losing them on the playground. I sent out an email about all of the online forms. This could be free and reduced. Grace Moore's transportation form. And I ask everyone please to fill out the back to school night survey. This gives me a chance to know a little bit more about you, as well as your son or daughter. That also provides me with all the appropriate contact information for you and what time works best for you to contact. Finally, if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me using my email or my school phone number, which is provided here. As well, I know Dr. Wheeler and Ms. Chamberlain are always happy to answer any questions you guys have regarding anything going on. So their emails are provided as well as a reminder of the school phone number down below. Again, thank you guys for joining Back to School Night. And if you have any questions, please reach out. Thank you guys. Bye.